Let's take it straight to an expert then. Rajeev Dimri of BMR Associates joins us to talk about this. Rajeev, good to have you on the show. You heard our correspondents talk about the various changes that can really come about. Of course, when we talk about GST, it has been the talking point for several years. Now we are looking closest to the reality that we have ever been in the last many years. Do you think that the balancing act has been done well by the government in terms of politics over economics that we have seen here?
Well, I certainly think that things should move because, the general mood of the commerce, I'm using the word loosely, the industry has stepped up its demand. It is, everybody I think has recognized that this is far more than just politics. It is need of the hour. So I do hope that will certainly guide the behavior of the political parties. Things all seem to be lined up. And this is where the real aspects of GST is now being discussed, the threshold limits, who has the control, because once we assume a scenario that we are now done with the constitutional amendment, that's when all these other issues start to become very, very relevant. And I think, industry is extremely keen to know the outcome of this center-state conversation about control. There were some newspaper suggestions about, for a certain period of time, state will have control over a particular entity, and then the control will flip to the federal government, and it goes back and forth. Those kind of news articles will make a whole lot of people very concerned, because you do want a certainty in the tax administration. You want to know who you're reporting to. That authority has to be consistent in its approach, not changing its views every now and then. So I think, right now, hopefully the industry is of the view that things are far better in the constitutional amendment process than ever before. And hopefully all the buzz around consensus building and all the parties supporting it should come true. But then the real administrative aspects will come about in terms of the definitions, in terms of the control, in terms of, how will the, timelines will work. All of that will become extremely relevant.
Of course, the finer details will be coming in, and that will really define the real impact of GST and how beneficial it is. But Rajeev, tell me one thing very quickly, that right now what we are gathering is that there could be just guiding principles to determine the rate, and an exact rate is not something that we have really come up to, because that's also a point of debate between the opposing parties. How important is that rate at this point, and do you think that will really solve the purpose if it is at a certain rate, and if it's much higher than the rate that you have in mind, then it will really defeat the benefits coming in from GST?
Rate is certainly important because a lot of things are tied to that. Many companies would be looking at pricing aspects of it. The rates are important for services because they would be looking for, increase in rate. If you're talking about a multi-rate structure, then inevitably the classification disputes come in. So rate is certainly a very important aspect of it. And industry has been saying that we need introduction of GST at moderate rates so that it has a chance of stabilizing and successful, because it should not happen that at the point of introduction, the consumers, start to seeing a different cost structure and have an adverse reaction to it. But to my mind, the rate will come about in next couple of months. First thing is, are we going through the constitutional amendment? If that goes through as is widely expected, and I do hope that it does go through this time, the immediate focus will then start to move to the draft bill, the draft law, the rules. Rate hopefully should be out there soon, but I think there are many things that are necessary even prior to that.
Oh, yeah. Rates
will certainly come about because ultimately companies will have to start deciding pricing and what working capital impact it has, and how to have the procurement strategy and everything else. So it is extremely important, but perhaps not in the next few weeks.
Oh, that's right, Rajeev. Thanks so much for your quick comments and insights on the all-important GST. So all eyes would be on that one, and Wednesday is the day that we are watching out for. Thanks so much for joining us. Moving on to another big development this evening, and the result